Good afternoon, welcome to Bloomfield Stadium, ברוכים הבאים, מסיבת עיתונאים, a special press conference with the coach, Mládен Crestáic, and the owner, Gולדהאר, on Zoom from Canada. The way it will work is we'll start with a few words from Mitch, then we'll move on to questions and answers with the coach, and then we'll get back to questions and answers with Mitch. So please, Mitch.
Thank you. Good afternoon to you. Nice to see you all, albeit at a distance. I am pleased to introduce you to Maccabi's new coach, Mládен. Before I hand it over to you for your questions to Mláden, I would like to take a brief moment to touch on our process for choosing a coach. Firstly, we do not look for a coach while we have a coach. But following our decision to make a change, we started to examine candidates that either expressed an interest or who we approached as potential candidates. We received many inquiries and a lot of interest. Barak and Jack conducted the first stage interviews and produced a short list of candidates. We then agreed on a second stage interview, at which time I participated. And in some cases, we followed up with further interviews. As you can expect, candidates do not materialize at once, but come to us over a period of several weeks. Over the course of discussions with Mláden and his team, we felt that he had the attributes we were looking for and that he would be a good fit. As you all know, he had an exemplary career as a player in Serbia and in Germany, and he is a proven winner. Although he is at the relatively early stages of his coaching career, he brings with him the same hunger for winning, as well as the skills to work with players of all ages and to develop a squad that plays the kind of football we want to see. We all wish him the best of luck. Before I conclude, I would like to once again thank Barak for stepping in as the interim coach when asked. I have nothing but praise for Barak's loyalty and hard work during this time and his willingness to take on the role that I was convinced he was more than capable of fulfilling, but nevertheless was new to him and which came with a great deal of pressure. Barak, thank you. And now we all need to get back to work because we still have a long season ahead of us. Thank you. So we will turn it over to your questions for the coach.
Thank you, Mitch.
Hallo Mitch, und ich bedanke mich für die schöne Sache, was hat er gesagt über mir und meine Karriere, und ich bin sehr, sehr froh, dass ich hier bin mit euch, und ich danke euch auch, dass Sie sind hier und dass so viele Leute hier gekommen sind, und ja, ich bin sehr stolz, dass ich hier bin, und das kann ich sagen, ich bin neuer Trainer bei Maccabi Tel Aviv.
So Mláden says, thanks a lot for the warm words of Mitch about himself and about his career. He's very happy that he's today here, and he's very grateful to be here and to meet so many of you, so many people here in the place, in the stadium today. He's very proud to be the new coach of Maccabi, and he has nothing but really gratefulness, and he's looking forward for his time here.
Move on to questions from here, please. תשאל בעברית אני אתרגם, תשאל באנגלית עדיף. תן למוישלה לשאול.
ברוך הבא לישראל, ברוך הבא למכבי. אנחנו רוצים רק אולי לדעת אם הוא מכיר כבר את שחקני מכבי מטלוויזיה או מאיזה דרך כלשהי, האם הוא התייעץ עם איביץ' או עם מישהו אחר שמכיר את הכדורגל הישראלי?
Erstmal willkommen in Israel, willkommen bei Maccabi. Die Frage ist, kennst du schon Maccabi von irgendwoher, aus dem Fernsehen? Hast du dich mit jemandem beraten, so wie Ivic oder irgendjemand, der der Mannschaft nahesteht? Okay.
Vielen Dank. Ich sage nochmal, ich bin sehr froh, dass ich hier bin und das kann ich in der Zukunft zusammenarbeiten und reden über Fußball, über Maccabi. Ich habe, auf meine Sicht, ich weiß nicht, wer hat nicht gehört für die Fußballverein wie eine Maccabi. Das ist ein riesiger Verein, nicht nur in Israel, in der ganzen Welt. Das kennt jeder Kind in Europa oder Welt für die Maccabi. Und ich sage nochmal, ich bin sehr stolz, dass bin ich hier und das kann wir in der Zukunft zusammenarbeiten und versuchen, in Maccabi in der nächsten Zeit in der gute Position einstellen auf der Tabelle oder Cup oder in Europa.
Okay. Thanks again for the welcome, and he's very happy to be here. Mlaaden says he's looking forward to work with you together and to work with the team together, to talk with you guys about football. And the big question is, who hasn't heard about Maccabi yet? Maccabi is a very famous football club, so of course he's following Maccabi. Maccabi is not only known in Israel, also outside of Israel. Maccabi is very well known, and he's looking forward to work hard and to position Maccabi in an excellent position in the league, in the cup, and of course also then in the European competition.
Und Entschuldigung, nochmal über Ivic habe Sie gefragt. Ich habe gesprochen mit Wladimir Ivic und wir sind zusammen gespielt damals in Partizan. Der hat mir alles super gesagt über Maccabi und über Tel Aviv und ganze Israel. Und ich sage nochmal, ich bin sehr froh, dass ich hier bin.
So he spoke with Vladimir Ivic because they played together. They had together a time in Partizan, Belgrade. And Vladimir told him everything about Maccabi, told him everything about Tel Aviv, and told him everything about Israel. So he consulted with him, and it was an important step for him.
שוב, ברוך הבא לישראל ולמכבי תל אביב. האם הוא לקח בחשבון שהוא מגיע באמצע העונה או אחרי שליש של העונה שעברה? האם הוא לקח את זה בחשבון שלא תהיה לו כאן עונה מלאה, ומה הפילוסופיית המשחק שהוא מתכוון להקנות למכבי תל אביב?
עדיף תשאלו באנגלית, יהיה יותר פשוט.
Und ob du das in Betracht gezogen hast, dass jetzt die Mitte von der Saison und dass du jetzt einsteigst in der Mitte von der Saison und was wird deine Philosophie sein und wie wirst du welches Spiel oder welche Philosophie wirst du gestalten?
Okay, danke schön. Nochmal und ja, ich habe unterschrieben einen Vertrag mit einer Option und ja, das ist einfach eine neue Erfahrung für mich und in meiner Karriere damals wie Fußballer, ich habe immer übernehmen die Risiko in meiner Karriere damals wie Fußballer, heute wie Fußballtrainer. Ich sage nochmal, das ist eine neue Erfahrung und ich habe keine Angst vor Herausforderung über diese Sache in der Maccabi, was wartet auf mich. sicher, das habe ich meine Philosophie, ich habe gekommen noch mit drei Leuten in Tel Aviv und werde alles versuchen, in der schneller wie es möglich Maccabi in der Rhythmus oder auf der Tabelle einstellen, wo sind die echt, muss sein, aber in diesem Moment, wir brauchen Zeit, wir müssen die mit den neuen Spielern schnell wie es möglich einzustellen, System, wie kann wir funktionieren, wie kann wir spielen, wie kann wir trainieren, wie kann wir spielen und alles andere müssen wir schneller wie es möglich, weil ich habe keine Zeit, wir spielen in den Rhythmus Mittwoch, Samstag wieder, jeden 3 Tage, wir sind drei Wettbewerbe in der Liga, in der Pokal und Europa, wir sind im Februar haben wir auch ein Spiel gegen PSV. Insgesamt warte auf uns viele Zeit und müssen wir viele arbeiten, alle zusammen, ganze Verein, wie Fußballspiele, wie in der Staff oder alle Leute in der Maccabi, aber insgesamt wir sind bereit und wir wollten alles versuchen, Maccabi oben zu holen.
Okay. Mlaaden signed this contract and this option, and he know that he will take the risk. He knows this in former times as a player. He knows it today as a coach. It's a new experience for him. He is not afraid of what is waiting for him, and for this, for the big load of work that's waiting for him, he brought a coaching staff with him, 3 good people, and they need time to establish his rhythm. He needs time to roll out his philosophy, his ideas, but it also needs to happen very fast because they don't have any time to lose. Maccabi is present in 3 competitions: the league, the national cup, the international competition is continuing in February. So a lot of work is waiting for him, for the whole club, for his staff, for the whole team, for everyone in the club, and everyone is ready to work hard and for the best of success of the club.
Okay, first of all, good luck in your new position in Maccabi Tel Aviv. I want to ask you, because you had the time now in the past 2 weeks to see Maccabi playing, and you saw them playing in Europe and also in the league. From what you saw in those games, what do you think Maccabi needs to improve immediately, and how are you going to manage the situation? Because you were a great central defender, how are you going to manage the situation with Maccabi having probably one of the worst defense in Ligat Al this season? What are your plans for that?
Also, du hattest jetzt 2 Wochen Zeit, um die Mannschaft anzuschauen. Welche Verbesserungen willst du vorschlagen und wie willst du das anstellen? Du warst früher ein Weltklasse-Verteidiger. Mit Maccabi hast du eine der schlechtesten Abwehren in der Liga. Was ist dein Konzept?
Also sicher, dass in diesem Moment, ich kenne alle Spiele, habe ich schon in den letzten 10 Tagen alles beobachtet, wie spielt Maccabi und was fehlt bei Maccabi, sicher auch aus meiner Sicht und auch aus meinem Staff. Maccabi hatte Potenzial, hatte gute Spieler in der Kader und haben sie gezeigt in den letzten paar Wochen unter der Kontrolle Direktor Barak und sie haben sehr gut gespielt, besonders letztes Spiel, haben wir gesehen vor 2 Tagen, haben sie gewonnen 3-0, aber was ist gut, was haben wir gesehen, das haben wir kontrolliert 90 Minuten das Spiel und ja, in der Zukunft müssen wir, was habe ich gesagt, aber am Anfang müssen wir richtig konzentrieren, müssen wir richtig mit den Spielern kennengelernt und unsere Philosophie einzubringen in den Training, weil ich sage nochmal, haben wir keine Zeit, müssen wir mehr und viele arbeiten und müssen uns Spieler verstehen in erste Training schon morgen Nachmittag, weil ich sage nochmal, ich habe keine Zeit, so einen Verein kann ich warten und die Fans, wir haben viele Fans und beste Fans in Israel. Das bedeutet, das muss ganz eng sein und gute Atmosphäre einzustellen.
So, Mlaaden and his team, they watched in the last 10 days very intensive every game, every match. He sees a big potential in the squad. There are many good players in the team. He enjoyed watching the last game, the 3-0 victory, but from now on, it's important that the future. They need to work very concentrated, very focused. The first step is already tomorrow afternoon, the first training session. He wants to get to know the team, and they should get to know himself very fast, and so that he can transport his philosophy, that he can show his way, how he wants to be successful. And as he said in the former question already, there's no time to lose. A lot of work is waiting for him, and he also counts, of course, on the tight bonds with the fans, because he says, like, the fans of Maccabi Tel Aviv are the best fans in the league, the best fans in Israel. So in this bridge he wants to build with the fans, that everyone in the surrounding of the club, that everyone works together. Yeah, it has the last game under Coach Barak was very excellent. He appreciates the high performance, the high quality of the team.
חלון העברות בחודש ינואר ייפתח. האם יש לו שחקן אחד או שניים או שהוא ירצה להביא ארצה?
Das ist die Sache, wo muss bleiben zwischen Sportdirektor Barak und ich, kann wir reden in den nächsten paar Tagen. Wichtig ist, dann nächst haben wir noch Zeit, 2 Wochen sicher bis 1. Januar, und wir werden wir reden und müssen wir erst einmal sehen, wie unsere Spiele trainieren kann, und das können wir entscheiden, wer kann hier bleiben, wer kann kommen, wer will kommen. Aber in diesem Moment, das ist noch zu früh für diese Sache überreden.
That's, of course, it's an internal thing between sports director Barak and the coaching staff about upcoming transfer activities. They have now 2 weeks' time to look into the team, who is performing well, who can stay, who wants to leave. Things are open, and he's going after the training performance, and then it's still 2 weeks' time until January, until decisions could be made.
I want to ask you about the language situation. You have in your squad one player that speaks Germany, Avi Rikan, but the others will probably understand English or Spanish. What are you intend to do in order to get your message clearer to the players?
Ich verstehe alles auf Englisch, aber ich spreche Deutsch und ich verstehe alles auf Englisch. Ich habe kein Problem. Fußball ist ein ganz einfaches Spiel, das kann wir alles verstehen auf dem Platz oder auf dem Pitch, wie kann man sagen auf dem Englisch. Das ist ganz kein Problem. Das ist ganz einfach zu reden auf dem Platz mit dem Spieler. Wenn der Spieler clever ist, der versteht alles, was braucht ein Trainer von ihm oder Trainerstab von ihm. Das ist kein Problem, sicher.
Okay. He understands everything in English, so he understands everything. But he speaks German, he speaks his Serbian mother tongue. He says football is international. Football speaks every language. And he said once a player is smart, he will understand any language. And this is he's counting on.
I want to ask what is the goal for this season, and if he thinks that Maccabi cannot win this season the champion.
Sicher, dass Maccabi hatte Potenzial, was habe ich schon gesagt, aber in diesem Moment wir sind Vierte auf der Tabelle und haben wir Punkte gleich wie Dritte oder und 9 Punkte hinter Zweite. Aber was ist wichtig in der Zukunft? Wichtig ist, dass wir spielen, jedes Spiel, nächstes Spiel ist ganz wichtig. Das ist Sonntag, unsere Liga Cup. Das ist ganz wichtig für uns. Danach, was kommt, ist völlig, ist total andere Seite. Wichtig ist nächstes Spiel. Habe ein paar Punkte verkaufen oder so, aber in diesem Moment wichtig ist Sonntag gegen nächste Gegner. Das ist dritte Liga Mannschaft, haben wir Respekt von dieser Mannschaft, aber das ist ganz wichtig, müssen wir richtig gut unsere Mannschaft einstellen für die Liga-Pokal. Das ist wichtig.
So, Mlāden says the team has the potential, yes, to win the championship. He knows that the team is right now in the 4th place. Same points like to the 3rd place. It's 9 points to the 2nd place. But for him now, for the future, every single match counts. It starts next Sunday with the League Cup. It's against the 3rd league team, but the respect should not be missed. Highly respected team, and from then on, then is the focus on the next team, on the next match. That's then the next highest importance. So every single match counts, and he doesn't underestimate the challenge.
Nochmal, wir sind großer Verein und die Fans warten alles von uns. Müssen wir versuchen, jedes Spiel zu gewinnen. Das wir brauchen, weil haben wir Qualität und haben wir richtig gute Fans hinter uns. Die besten Fans in Israel. Müssen wir alles geben auf dem Platz. Bei den Training, bei dem Spiel. So brauchen wir. Ohne Disziplin kann man das nichts machen. Ohne Atmosphäre geht das nicht.
And once again, Maccabi is a big club, and nothing else than a victory in every match will be expected. This is what the team, or what he owns to the fans, because these are the best fans in Israel. And the quality is expected, and he wants to see and he wants to force the quality in every training session, in every match. And this is how the success should be executed in the future.
Final 2 questions, then we'll move on to Mitch.
Some coaches who were here in Maccabi went after that to very nice career as a coaches in Europe, in better leagues. Does your wish is to be in the Bundesliga, the place where you played in Werder Bremen and Schalke in the future? This is the goal of Mlāden Crestáic?
Ist es dein Wunsch, in die Bundesliga, ja, bei Bremen und Schalke groß war,
das ist,
zu sein?
Ja, das ist verständlich. Das ist ganz schwer, in diesem Moment zu reden über Bundesliga. In diesem Moment ich bin der Trainer bei der Maccabi und alles andere, mich interessiert das nicht. Meine Entscheidung war Maccabi und ich bin jetzt hier und ich wollte mich hier integrieren und alles andere, was passiert in der Zukunft, werden wir sehen.
Okay. It's a difficult question because it's not a topic right now. Mlāden decided fully and with all conscience to be the coach of Maccabi, and this is where his focus and all his concentration lies on. And what will be in the future is a different topic, but his decision was made to be the coach of
when Maccabi Tel Aviv announced that you are coming to be the new coach, there were a lot of articles in the Israeli media surrounding your time as the national coach of Serbian team. And a lot of things was taken from the Serbian media, not good things about you, but we haven't heard your version to what didn't work for you as a coach in the national team, and maybe you can now tell us about it.
But the national match, they had me integriert die defense. Die Journalist hatte mir kritisiert was.
Bei deiner Vorstellung kamen viele Artikel aus der serbischen Presse raus,
ja,
über deine Zeit als serbischer Nationaltrainer. Und du kamst nicht gut dabei weg. Was ist deine Version? Warum hat es nicht funktioniert als Nationaltrainer?
Doch, das ist die ganz andere Frage und kann mir reden, aber nächstes Mal, aber für mich ist, ich habe kein Problem. Doch hat richtig gut funktioniert. Ich war 1,5 Jahre Co-Trainer in der Nationalmannschaft, 1,5 Jahre wie Cheftrainer in der Nationalmannschaft. Wir sind in Europa, Liga Europa Erste geworden. Wir sind in der Qualifikation für die EM, wir sind Dritte geworden. Haben wir ein Spiel verloren, wo habe ich meinen Vertrag getrennt mit der Nationalmannschaft. Sonst insgesamt diese Mannschaft, was spielt Serbien in diesem Moment, spielt in das System, was habe ich angestellt, das ist 3-5-2-System und alle Spiele, wo wir spielen jetzt ohne zwei, das ist Vlahovic und noch eine Pavlovic war nicht dabei, weil die sind zu jung geworden. Das bedeutet, damals habe ich gesagt, dass Serbien kann spielen 3 Systeme, weil haben keine linke und Außenverteidiger in der Liga oder in Europa, wo unsere Leute, unsere Serben, ich habe gesagt, wir müssen spielen System 3-5-2 und wir spielen seit letzten 1,5 Jahren, wir spielen dieses System. Das bedeutet, das war aber mit euch, mit Journalisten, ist ganz schwer zu reden über Fußball, weil wir wollten fragen, eine und warten auf andere Antwort. Ich bin direkt und ich sage alles, was habe ich gemacht in meiner Karriere. Ich habe keine Angst über mir, meine Karriere und alles andere.
So, okay. Mladic says he had a very successful time at the Serbian Federation. He was there 1.5 years as an assistant coach, followed by 1.5 years as a head coach of the team. They had a very good European campaign, and war er auch bei der EM? War er dabei? Bei der EM war er dabei? Bei der WM. Also for the World Cup campaign, participated, and his contract ended as the contract was running out, and they in der Europa League, Nations League, in the European competition, they had the first place in the group. So, and then they split ways. The discussion was always with the Serbian journalists and with the Serbian media about which system to play in the Serbian national team. They played normally a 3-5-2 system, and then several players like Vlahovic and Savic were missing, and the problem with the Serbian squad was that they didn't have like a left winger or left back, and so it was always discussion with the journalists or with the media which systems to play, and normally they said the Serbian national team can play 3 different tactical formations, but Mladic looks back in good times. He had good times. He is not afraid to talk about this good times. He left. He split ways with the federation in only good terms, from his side.
We'd like to ask him if he can share with us the way how Maccabi Tel Aviv reached him. How did he get the offer? What did he think of the first time, if it's the right time to move to Israel and to go start and coach Maccabi Tel Aviv?
Wie ist Maccabi an dich angetreten? Wie haben sie dich erreicht? Was war dein erster Gedanke in der Zeit,
Das ist eine gute Frage.
Good question.
Erster Kontakt, das war vor 2 Wochen mit dem Kerl Barak und Kangelidis und haben wir gesprochen 1,5 Stunde und ja, offiziell das war Sprache und das ist ganz normal. Das ist normal, wenn wir reden mit den Leuten über Fußball, über Karriere, über Philosophie und das war einfach eine normale Sprache wie andere Leute in andere Job. Das kann ich verstecken, was über diese Sache einfach. Das war eine Zeit, da haben sie mir angerufen und haben gesprochen ganz oft und das war eine freundliche Sprache und ich bin sehr froh, dass hat gut geklappt und ja und habe danach meine Berater hatte gesprochen und ja wie läuft das?
Okay. So the first contact was made about 2 weeks ago with sports director Barak. And Mr. Angelidis spoke about 30 minutes about common things about football, about the philosophy, about the concept, and it was a normal questions like every professional in his profession would speak with his opponents, and he had a good impression, very professional. It was very friendly, very kind, and then his consultant, his agent, was doing the background work and stuff like this. So this is how he ended here, and he's happy to be here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Das war's, ja?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Mitch, over to you.
Right, so yes, we'll now start the portion of this press conference where we'll open up to you for questions, any questions that you may have. Now that you've had a chance to meet the coach.
Good afternoon, Mitch. Good morning in your time. I believe that my question will be like I'm the mouth of the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans that for a long period of time they still hesitate and, you know, they don't feel comfortable, but what happened year by year, every season, when Maccabi stuck with no coach or with players that are coming very, very late, and it's not typical for a club like Maccabi Tel Aviv. And these questions is bothering the people, the fans are every year, and we would like to ask and to know your opinion about it. What do you think that we can do better for the next time?
Yeah, look at as you can imagine with that and with a lot of things, other things. There's a lot going on off stage. Okay? So we would love to bring players sooner. And we would have loved to have found our coach, sooner. And you can assume that we are doing and always doing everything in our power each year, and any time we're in that situation to do that. But Israel is safe. You and I know Israel is safe. You and I know Israel is a wonderful lifestyle. But the world does not know Israel is safe, and Israel is a wonderful lifestyle. So the process of bringing quality appointments to Maccabi is protracted sometimes. We don't want to cut corners in who we appoint. So in some cases, it takes longer. I mean, in some cases, players just, stall and see whether they're going to get, I'm talking about, of course, foreign players. I mean, offers from others. So when there's silence is not inactivity at Maccabi. We're a bit, maybe taciturn for your liking, but we believe that the benefits outweigh the costs in terms of our ultimate goals of building the right culture for our club. And so we're working off stage when you may think we're missing the mark or twiddling our thumbs. We know it would be better if we could bring players and coaches sooner, but unfortunately we're up against the reality of the situation with Israel. It's happened every year. I mean, there's nothing unique other than it was a little bit different this year. It was even more difficult this year. About that, we've had that challenge every year, for many years. And, for the most part, if you look and step back, it's worked out. But it is frustrating. And so we share the same frustration, but it is what it is.
Okay. Hi, Mitch. I guess the thing that all of us are wondering is why this is the first time that we have the chance to speak with you since the first championship of Ivic, and why haven't you came to Israel in the past 2.5 years?
I think you might be exaggerating, but that's okay. It took 3 minutes to ask that question. I'm impressed. Look at when I bought Maccabi, my core business had a tailwind. I had 2 right-hand men at that time in my core business. E-commerce was kind of still questionable in early stages. I didn't have Penguin Pickup. I didn't have a particular, film studio that I've, over the years, acquired. Maccabi was not in an ideal situation at that time, but my core business was. And I was able to come to Israel a lot. And the decision to acquire Maccabi at that time was intricately tied with the fact that I felt that I had that freedom to come to Israel. And while those were very difficult years, and I don't want to romanticize them at all, because they were very difficult years, at Maccabi and rebuilding Maccabi. But I did enjoy it. I really do enjoy those kind of challenges. Just kind of the way I'm wired, I guess. So I came a lot and I enjoyed it. As challenging and stressful as it was. But over the years, my core business has, let's fast forward today. Today, my core business, look at everything health-wise at Maccabi starts with my core business. Everything Maccabi is enabled by the health of my core business. So let's fast forward to today. Today, my core business has a headwind because my core business is real estate and it's primarily being, retail, physical retail. And so in the years that have passed, e-commerce, we're all part of that. Everybody that I'm looking at there in the room, you're, part of, some of the changes to the split between physical and online shopping. So that's one aspect of why I have a headwind in my core business. I have one right-hand man, or I had one right-hand man, who tragically died recently. And he was my right-hand man for 22 plus years. And I don't have a second, and I have not had a second right-hand man for years. Penguin Pickup is a growing and, growing concern. Concern meaning good thing. And of course the film studio, and there's a few other things. So in terms of, and let's layer all of that into a world that, of COVID. So my time and energy in keeping the core business has been, distributed accordingly, and it's critical, and it's in Maccabi's best interest that I do. But this in no way reflects my interest level, my love, my enjoyment of owning Maccabi Tel Aviv, and my commitment and interest in its success, and in its success. So my absence is not a reflection of my level of commitment, but rather a reflection of my core business situation, which, don't get me wrong, I mean, things are great. We are just transitioning the business. I mean, we are developing residential forms of real estate on our shopping centers across the country. But, I am in the hot seat and have been. And Peter Ford, who I was referring to, my right-hand man, got sick a year ago. And, and prior to that, we had COVID. I have at many times tried to come to Israel. And I really hope, that things will enable me to do that soon. But other than that, nothing has changed whatsoever.
The reason I asked you this question so fast is because in the past, maybe 12 months, there is an ongoing discussion in the Israeli media and also by the fans of Maccabi Tel Aviv, and they are wondering if those things that you just said are affecting the reason that Maccabi is not being successful, that maybe the fact that you have less time for Maccabi Tel Aviv because of what happened is impacting the team. This is why I asked you this so soon. So my question is, those situations that you just described, are they affecting the success of Maccabi Tel Aviv?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't affect the amount of time that I spend on Maccabi. I just get up earlier, I stay later. My days are longer. That's just, I'm back at the coalface. I do think there is, I think it's important, to be in Israel. I do think that there is, a benefit to the team. I can't deny that, but there have been, just insurmountable obstacles in the last, year and a half plus, going on 2 years. So you just need to take that into account. You have an owner that lives, on the other side of the world here, and we have, a virus, affecting everything, and especially travel. So it's an unfortunate situation. You're probably not aware that I do communicate with everybody at the club, including the players, on a fairly regular basis. So, I do my best to be there virtually. But yeah, it's not ideal when things normalize. I don't think you would really notice a difference in terms of my presence. Like if there was no COVID over the last few years, yes, I would have all these things that I'd be dealing with in Canada, but I would have been able to come to Israel on the more, kind of regular basis that I was pre-COVID. You probably wouldn't have noticed the difference. If you look at my pattern prior to COVID, it wouldn't have changed even though my core business has changed. It's just made traveling with the quarantining situation and being away and being forced to be away, quarantining in Israel and then quarantining back in Canada, the combination of those things was just not tenable because of the extra work I've had in Canada. So it's just kind of pushed it over the line. But if it wasn't for COVID and everything else was the same, I would have been, my normal pattern would have been to be in Israel. Yeah, I look forward to, normalization and getting back to the normal pattern of being able to be with the team physically.
Hi, Mitch.
Hi.
Hi. When you send away Dor Micha and Omer Atzili, most of the fans were behind you, and most of the media here agree with your move. I'm sure that this question wouldn't come if you won the champion last year, but after especially Atzili came back from Cyprus and took with Maccabi Haifa the champion, the people started to ask maybe it was not a bad decision to send those two players, and I think maybe it's the time to hear in the first time from you about your reaction about it.
Believe it or not, there are some things that are more important than just the skills or soccer, let's just say. Okay, and at Maccabi we have our own culture, and to me this is a story that's now history. I mean, I really don't want to get into this topic. It's history, but we will maintain a culture that is based on certain values, and it's easy to debate and critique things in hindsight, but the higher tier issues for us have to do with our culture and our values. So we stand by those, period, and that's who we are, and that's all I'll say about that.
Hi, Mitch. Two questions, please. First of all, we would like to hear when you decide to sign the new coach of Maccabi Tel Aviv, it's not bother you that he don't speak English well? This is the first question. And the second question, the gap now in the table is 10 points. If Maccabi Tel Aviv did not take the championship, it will be a fail?
The first question, I mean, I think the coach addressed that. We've had, other coaches whose English was not their, mother tongue. I think you might be surprised at Mladen's English. He certainly understands it very well, and I think for the purposes of the press conference, I think he, preferred not to reply in English, but I think he's got enough English, plenty of English to use to communicate directly in that form. But there's other people there, and as he said, there's the language of football. We took all of that into consideration when making the decision. He is he is a very smart man. This is a man who has figured a lot of things out in his life along the way. Do not underestimate him. So I think this will not, this will be a minor issue. Your second question was.
If it will be a fail if Maccabi Tel Aviv did not take the champion this year after the 10-point gap right now.
We are absolutely going after the championship. We are going to do it one day at a time. We are going to get 60 minutes out of every hour to prepare for every game. We're going to put our heads down and our walls high. And we were going to do everything within our power to compete for the championship. Failure, to use your term, I'll tell you what would be a failure. A failure would be if we don't play to our potential. We are in a hole, but it's time for the players to respond. They need to play to their potential. And the results will look after themselves.
Hello, Mitch. 2 questions. First question is about the fair play. What is the situation with Maccabi Tel Aviv and the fair play? And the second question, I want to do the question that Yaniv Tuchman said. I want to ask you one more question about Omer Atzeli and Dor Micha. If you knew from the beginning that there will be no charges against them and they will be released, would you change your mind?
First of all, as I say, this is history. I really don't want to dwell on this, but I think I indirectly answered or responded to that by saying, Maccabi has its culture and its values, and they are the highest tier. No player is above it. So I think we'll leave it at that. Sorry, was there a separate question?
About the fair play and Maccabi Tel Aviv, what is the situation?
You mean the financial fair play?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have to watch. We have to be careful. Obviously, we were in a difficult situation with financial fair play. We have obviously dealt with that. And so, yeah, I mean, going forward, we still have to be careful. But we're okay right now. I mean, because of the way we've done things, you're walking a bit of a high wire when you're dealing with building a team and, on the one hand, and on the other hand, dealing with financial fair play, and of course, not knowing in advance how you're going to do in Europe, which has a huge impact on your financial situation. So it's a delicate balance, but I think we're good right now. We are good right now with respect to that balance. We just have to keep an eye on it. Be careful.
Mitch, I would like to ask you, last year, exactly at the same time, Maccabi faced the same situation of changing a coach, and you choose to have Patrick Van Loven to stay as a coach till the end of the season. He had a great success, and you gave him to be a coach for the second year. Do you think that he should stay as he was, like a great youth manager, instead of being a coach, which he was not exactly, and now he's not with Maccabi, and you lose a great man?
Yeah, you pretty much said it all right there. I mean, Patrick's a great guy. He was, and probably certainly is a great youth director. I mean, we were not planning for Patrick to be the coach of Maccabi all the time he was a youth coach. So. Yeah, I mean, you can see the consequences of of life as a head coach. It's huge consequences. So we lost the coach and we lost the youth director. And it's a shame. Now, we feel fortunate that we have a great, our youth director now is fantastic. So we are lucky to have been able to really, lose no ground at all, if not more, and I think that, look at Patrick did a great job, but so did the players. I mean, the players responded last year. And let's not forget that. And Patrick was the right, ingredient. The alchemy, the chemistry of it all was perfect last year, or let's say almost perfect. And Patrick deserved the opportunity to carry on. We believe that. So look at I don't know where all of you started before you got into journalism. Okay. I don't think you went from, playing soccer in the street to somebody saying, hey, why don't you come be a sports journalist, and here's a pen and here's a desk, and, you get your space in our, on our website or in our paper. I mean, somebody had to say, I think you've got some potential. I'm sure some of you in the room, who were, somebody for sure in the room was not an obvious choice. Somebody gave you a break. Somebody saw your potential. Somebody could sit around and, be a shit inspector and tell you all the things that you haven't done well in your previous life or life leading up to that. Like, that's the easiest job in the world. How about taking a chance and giving somebody that you think have, the right character and the right values and the right experience, and give them a chance to put it together. So that was Patrick, and it worked, and we felt that he deserved the chance to lead the team the next year. And And that's how I feel about Mlaaden. I mean, and frankly, there were coaches that we brought, or not just coaches. I mean, we've made appointments in the past that people did question, about those choices. Cynicism is not wisdom, so it's easy to sit on the sidelines, especially in hindsight. Patrick did a great job. Nobody would have expected it. If we announced, we were going to put Patrick in as the head coach from the beginning, I'm sure it would be met with a lot of skepticism. You saw what he did, and it was fantastic. Second season, different story. So I don't think we would change anything that we did. I'm very indebted to Patrick. He's a great guy. He really is. And he made the most, of last year. And he did his best this year. And it's a shame that we've lost him from the organization, but I wish him, obviously the best. And we have all the time in the world for him.
Two final questions, one from Raz, one from Tuchman.
Okay. Mitch, 2 days ago, the house of Eran Zehavi in Amsterdam was broken again. And obviously the speculation is on the table, but is it a possibility to bring back now Eran Zehavi after 5.5 years, to bring him back home?
We all love Eran, obviously. But I don't feel comfortable talking about he is also, a player on another team. And I don't know whether, it's not just another team at the moment either. So I just don't think it's appropriate. If somebody started talking, another owner started talking about one of our players, like that, I wouldn't appreciate it. So, I think I just would rather not comment on anything along those lines. But obviously, Eran is somebody we like and respect a lot.
I will not ask like my colleagues, when will be the next time that you will be here? I will say next time maybe we will meet at Toronto when you send your airplane for all the media here. And it's about time that we will come to Canada after more than 10 years that we are covering you.
God help Canada. Oh my God.
I will try to put a few things because Ofer said the last question. I want to ask, how do you feel when thousands of people with season ticket didn't come to the last 2 games? Against Nofa Galil, I think 8,000 people stayed at home, even they bought the season ticket. The last game against Hedera, 5,000 people were at home. I want to ask if you feel it's enough from the youth department when you put Maccabi, put a budget on the youth department that is higher than the budget of, I think, 50% of the Israeli Football League in the Ligat Al. And you put, I think 20 million shekels, something like that. And the last thing, I want to ask Mitch, because I know you from your first days. I remember the days that you wanted to buy home here, to buy a car, you wanted to live here in Israel. We saw you, after the winning champion of Ivich in 2019, you were very glad on the stage in Rishon LeZion, even more than the 3 champions, in the time of Jordi. And I want to ask again, what pushed you more? Because you won 5 champions here. You saw that in Champions League in Europe, Israelis and also Maccabi cannot reach more than group stage once in 20 years maybe. What pushed you more to be here? And what is the message after this press conference to the fans? Mitch Gולדהאר will bring the champion to Maccabi Tel Aviv in the next years.
Well, I know those are all sort of connected, those questions and comments. So I'll do my best to answer in the spirit of your questions. Yes, I was really, over the moon, happy when we won our last championship. So I look forward to that. It's a special experience, not just winning it, but the journey, the getting there. So I look, when we met, when I first bought Maccabi, first of course, I had a little bit of gray hair, but it was many gray hairs ago. I did actually think I might move to Israel. Actually, my plan was to move for a certain part of the year, really the soccer season, and then be in Canada for the other part of the year. I was hoping, not initially, but I was thinking that when I bought Maccabi, that was a possibility. For business reasons here in Canada, it just never materialized. And that, together with my parents who, are not young, they weren't young there then, and they're elderly now, and of course, all the years in between. So it just could not, materialize. It was very much driven by the business growing rapidly and changing. So that just fell off the table, unfortunately. But you never know, I may not work like this forever, and Israel as a possible principal or secondary residence and place to live is certainly still a possibility. But what keeps me going is just the love of the challenge, the love of Israel, the love of Maccabi. I mean, it really does it brings me very close to Israel. So personally, that connection is life enhancing. Makes me, enjoy. It stokes my Jewish, embers, and it makes me feel alive. I mean, I love it. I mean, part of me is, I guess, I don't know, it's just a big part of me, a big part of who I am. I mean, I was born in Canada and I have a business in Canada, but, there's more to me. And, my Jewishness is, very much, alive and well. So it does bring a lot of that to me and for me. And then I'm just a sports, competitive person. I'm a business person, and Maccabi offers that as well. And I am not, I may not, show it, but I am not satisfied. I don't like losing. So that's an existential thing. I mean, I don't win to the extent where I'm tired of it. Okay. I wake up in the morning and I want to win. So you put all those things together, along with a few other things. I am determined to win, and that includes winning championships. But it's challenging, and I love that. So we have, to do all kinds of things to get it all, all right. But that is still the goal, and along the way, of course, it is personally very, very life enhancing. I also take the responsibility of it may not be visible so much to the naked eye. You may not think this, but I do think that teams like Maccabi have a lot of responsibility, have a lot of influence over youth, and that is an ongoing thing that I do also, that also is very motivating to me, is to continue to be a good example to kids. you know, how to do things, how to you know, work ethic and values, and how to, you know, how to win, you know, properly. So I do enjoy, you know, I find that as an important responsibility, and that is an ongoing thing that propels me as well.
Thank you, Mitch, and thanks everyone for coming. תודה רבה.
Thank you.